in before Square Enix didn't cancel their NFT investment, and it comes out in 2025.
Square Enix, the makers of the critically acclaimed Final Fantasy series, publishers of all things JRPGs, possibly making an NFT game? No, yeah, they already made one. And guess what? It's still getting updates. Welcome to a series where I play NFT games so you don't have to. So kick back, relax, and enjoy the show. This is the worst NFT game? Today, we'll be playing Square Enix's attempt at an NFT game, although calling it a game is a pretty big stretch. And that game is Symbiogenesis. Symbiogenesis. I have no idea what that word means, but rest in peace, Parasite Eve fans. Symbiogenesis is, well, I'm not too sure actually. Square Enix describes it as a narrative unlocked NFT entertainment. My guess it's a visual novel with NFTs forced in. Fantastic. It's apparently a completely new form of NFT-based entertainment where 10,000 collectible artworks meet real game utility, whatever any of that means. Now, I've seen this number floating around some of the other NFT games I've seen, and I'm curious as to why 10,000 NFTs is the go-to amount. Is there a reason for this? If anyone has any ideas, let me know, because I have no clue why it's always 10,000. But limiting a function of your game to a maximum of 10,000 players is always an incredibly stupid idea, and most certainly not a positive argument for NFTs in gaming. Stop doing it. All 10,000 NFTs have a unique design with various races and professions, but we'll be the judge of that when we actually take a look at them. They don't really describe the gameplay very much, just telling us to progress, find, unlock things, and determine an ending. So I have no idea if it's simply a visual novel or if there's anything else of substance here. The story of this game is pretty simple, albeit a stereotypical one. In a not-so-distant future, humanity has managed to survive by living on a floating continent, the last safe haven on Earth. Pollution, no more conflict. However, their peaceful lives were shattered by the sudden attack of the dragon, putting the existence itself of the floating continent in danger. Humanity fights to repel its attacks, choices determine fate, unravel a mystery, origins, ideal future, live together. Yeah, typical stuff here, although the most unrealistic part of all that was that all human conflict is no longer, which is total shite, but you know, it's a fantasy game after all. Now, Symbiogenesis actually released on December 21st of 2023, and its release actually pissed off a lot of gamers, not only because it's a crappy NFT project from a well-established AAA studio, but because people had assumed that it would be a revival to the abandoned Parasite Eve series, whose last game was released in 2011, so that definitely didn't help things. I looked around to see if I can find anything else about the game and honestly just made me more confused as to what the game is. For example, the missions are designed with a low difficulty level. What does that mean? Does that mean this isn't just a visual novel and there's actual gameplay? If so, what is the actual gameplay, and what would be so difficult about it? The quests to find hidden items are designed with a high difficulty level. What does that mean? How would that be difficult? I don't know. They also state that the game utility system is only for those who hold NFTs, aka for only those 10,000 players, assuming none have duplicates. Although the main story and missions can be done without NFTs? What does any of that mean? What do you get through this utility system? Who knows? The next section is probably my favorite and the most baffling of all. You have to use the slot release points given out once per day to unlock the story held by characters, in cooperation with all players. Once again, I have no idea what any of that means, but they've time-gated it, so that's great. Progress through the story and clear great missions, aka boss battles. So there are battles in this. What's it like? Is it turn-based? Is it an action RPG? I have no idea. Search for hidden items and participate in the last mission, known as the World Mission, and decide on the outcome of the story. And here comes the absolute best part of all of this. Are you ready? Once you've cleared all the missions and main stories of all 6 chapters, only 3 players will be able to participate in this world mission, leaving other players as spectators of the outcome. 3 players. 3. I have no idea what was going on at Square Enix when they were designing this game, if you can even call it that. But this is unbelievable, even more so than the entire existence of Captain Laserhawk the G.A.M.E. For the people stupid enough to buy NFTs for this game, 9,997 of them won't even be able to play the final and arguably the most important battle of this game. Although, since this is a main mission, which means it's theoretically available to everyone, it would be hilarious if the 3 selected for this final battle didn't actually own any of the NFTs at all. And I hope to God that's how it will play out. It hasn't happened yet, since I believe it's still at Chapter 3 and still in active development, at least looking at their Twitter. Now, because this game is time-gated, I don't think I'm going to be playing for very long. The moment I hit a time gate, I'm probably just going to stop, so keep that in mind. But before we take a look at the game, let's take a look at their totally unique NFTs. On the Symbiogenesis website, you can buy these totally unique NFT characters with the exact same pose and facial structures for about 0.07 Ethereum, which translates to around $240, or 4.5 copies of Final Fantasy XVI. And if you were worried that anyone would buy these NFTs, don't be, because not only did people buy them, they bought them for a significantly higher price. Unticking the on-sale filter, we see that there are at least 4 characters purchased above 1 Ethereum, which as of right now translates to around $3,460. So this character, Seiryu, was purchased for around $7,000, or 140 copies of Final Fantasy XVI. And that's only looking at Chapter 3. These NFTs are separated by chapters, and those other chapters had their fair share of 1+ Ethereum characters, which of course were sold out. We have one character here, Chroma, who's the main character of the story, not being available for sale. Yet, I assume, and I'm sure he'll be worth a pretty penny when they release him for sale. I really hope that the person who ends up buying Chroma doesn't get to participate in the final 3-player only battle. That would be the greatest thing to happen in any video game ever. One thing I'll say about these NFTs is that it's kinda cool when you click on them, it shows them on the actual map. Although they are just static images and honestly look kinda out of place. So maybe it's not that cool. Now, what exactly do these NFTs give you by owning them? Well, basically, each NFT character has a story that can only be read by the holders of the NFT. So, if you wanted to spend a couple hundred or upwards of thousands of dollars to read a few lines of story, here's your chance. Just a random fun fact, did you know for less than the price of a Symbiogenesis NFT, you can buy the hardcover version of the Lord of the Rings novel box set, a few digital paragraphs, or several physical novels? Tough choices. But we're not done. Square Enix haven't just NFT'd their NPC characters. No, they've NFT'd just about everything. If we click their OpenSea link, there are even more categories, from potions and elixirs, to membership cards for the color green, to the body portraits of characters which are not the characters themselves maybe, to replicas of characters which are quite literally just duplicates, these random chips that do something, items that also do a thing, and finally game artwork. Everything from the game countdown art, key visuals, to the auction countdown art. You can buy it all. You know, I was always told NFTs are meant to be completely unique. Wouldn't it defeat the purpose if multiple people own the exact same piece of art or character? Am I missing something here? I don't know. Maybe I'm just too stupid for NFTs. Anyways, yeah. Square Enix have NFT'd everything in Symbiogenesis. It's honestly kind of impressive. I can't wait till they NFT the island continent itself and Dragon Boss. It'll be fun to see how much they go for. I'm guessing it'll go for around 100 Ethereum. I'm sure there are people stupid enough to go for it. But that's all for their NFTs currently released. So, without further ado, let's finally play Square Enix's NFT game, Symbiogenesis. This game is played directly on your browser, no PC client required, and you need to log in using a Discord account, which is a first for me. Hopefully they don't hijack my account, but it doesn't really matter anyways since it's just a throwaway. Once you log in, you immediately get into the game, and sure enough, it's a visual novel, Chapter 1, Recollection. It's not full screen and it's clearly built for mobile devices. The story starts off with our character struggling, or whatever, in the dark, which then reveals itself to be a barren landscape with a red sun. Another character approaches and asks us to listen to their memories of Symbiogenesis. Oh my god, that's the name of the game! They said it! Anyways, mission clear. I am so good at video games. It then goes to the next scene and we get a look at Chroma and his origin. But I'm not gonna keep talking about the story since it's honestly not that interesting. But I should probably mention, there's no voice acting in this. There's an occasional sound effect here and there, as well as this honestly weird music track that I don't think really fits a fantasy vibe. Here, listen.
Come find me.
By the way, that is the Chapter 1 BGM, not just this cutscene. One thing I found interesting is the character portraits. If you look at it as it changes characters speaking, the face essentially stays the same from the position and expression, but the hair, clothing, and accessories change. So it honestly looks like it's just a single person changing outfits. I found it pretty funny. Once we finish that cutscene, we get introduced to the basic controls. You can move around the map, and when you zoom in real close, the option for search appears. When turned off, you can see detailed info about a character without consuming a charge, while it turned on lets you search for items while consuming a charge. And I definitely didn't read that thoroughly enough when I played because I made a pretty big mistake, but we'll get to that in a little bit. Let's explore our main menu. You have hints here that give you, well, hints on how to get certain items, which I assume that when it was the current active chapter, you would have to work with your fellow players to find these clues to unlock them for everyone. Honestly, could have been a cool idea for an ARG without the whole NFT stuff, but you know. We have the items, aka the potions and elixirs, which are NFTs for some reason, a ranking system where you get special rewards at the end of a season, daily rewards, game info, mission recollection, a tutorial on SP which you use with your fellow players to cumulatively unlock story, which we will get to soon because it's something alright. Quest items which can be turned into NFTs, your NFT collection, roles which I have no idea, and settings. Now, let's get on to my mistake. I started clicking on characters because I wanted to see their profile, not realizing that doing this while search mode is on consumes a charge, because I assumed that I was not searching for items, just looking at the characters. But I guess clicking anywhere on the map while search mode is on consumes a charge regardless, which is just great game design. I unfortunately don't realize this until a little bit later. Anyways, let's talk about the stories. Now since chapter 1 and 2 have already been completed by the NFT loving community, we get to see all the wonderful stories that they unlocked with their hard-earned SP. As you can see, there are stories and hints that are only available to the NFT holder, aka the people spending hundreds and thousands of dollars. Talk about pay to win, and the story that is available to everyone. And you want to see what that story is? This single line. That's the story unlock you get for that character. A single line. In order to complete a memory, you need to go to each individual character NPC and use your points to unlock a single line. That's it. That's your story. What a complete and utter joke. I was stunned when I realized this, by the way. Like, what the hell is any of this? One of the race is literally called normies. Are you serious? Anyways, I had enough of that and I continued the main story. Look at those amazing effects. Definitely worthy of a AAA studio. It was at this point I realized my mistake, and I decided to confirm that if clicking on a character uses up a charge, and yes it does. Remember kids, always read the tutorials thoroughly. I'll concede and agree that it is my fault, but holy crap, I can't believe that's how it works. But since I can't do anything, I'll have to wait an hour, and I hope it's an hour for all my charges and not just one, but I'm not too hopeful. I did say if I hit a time gate I would stop, but I might as well see if there's anything else of note. See ya in an hour, I guess. Unless there's nothing, in which case, cut to impressions. It's 1 charge per hour. I came back the next day to continue for just a little bit longer, and the next task is to just look under the ladder 3 times. So that's 3 stamina, just to continue the story. They were gracious enough to reward me with 2 stamina though, so that's nice, but it's time to finally do a great battle. Are we finally going to see some combat? No, actually, it's just a visual novel encounter and the battle is done. Chroma is hailed a hero, they make a reference to a much better story, and he moves on to a new mission. Yeah, nah, I think I've seen enough. I completed the chapter and moved on to the next, with a new piece of music which doesn't fit the game at all, and then promptly stopped. That's Symbiogenesis, a Where's Wally style click on things for stuff to happen with an hour-long stamina regen game. I hope the people who spent hundreds and thousands of dollars on NFTs got their money's worth. But let's get to the end of the video. I truly have no idea why this game, in quotations, exists. Is Square Enix hurting for money or something? I can understand if they maybe wanted to experiment on NFTs when it first became a craze in 2021, but they released this browser game at the end of 2023, which is way past the expiration date for NFTs. They also made the buy-in price ridiculous. If they were simply experimenting with the idea of NFTs, why charge upwards of thousands of dollars for a single PNG? You could probably buy the entire Square Enix game catalog for less. And even if they were hurting for money, why would they limit their potential sales to 10,000 NFTs? Considering it's all just randomly generated garbage, why not make it 100,000? 1 million NFTs? Sky's the limit. It seriously makes no sense to me, but I guess they did make money out of this, so you know what they say, there's a sucker born every minute. Anyways, not much point in going through the pros and cons, you all saw the footage, but pros nothing, cons everything. I give this game a Bring Back Parasite Eve out of 10. I guess this game serves as a reminder to never speculate on hype, especially when it comes to AAA studios. You'll just be left disappointed. And remember, this project is still ongoing with no signs of stopping. Let's hope they don't pull an Ubisoft and make another NFT game, but I wouldn't be too surprised at this point. Anyways, that's the end of the video and I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll catch you on the next one. See ya!